Let's shift gears and talk about coffee. There's a lot that goes into bringing you that piping hot cup of coffee that you enjoy in the morning. And we're going to be in conversation with Challa Srishant, who is a managing director at CCL Products, one of the companies responsible for bringing that bean to your doorstep. Thank you so much, Mr. Srishant, for joining in. Like I was mentioning, there are several situations that you have to take into consideration. Let's first talk about the demand scenario. How are you seeing that playing out? Are we back to pre-COVID levels at this juncture? And of course, I would assume that a lot of things in terms of distribution have also changed over the course of the last 1.5 years. So how is that panning out?
To be frank, even during COVID, we've actually seen an increase in instant coffee consumption. There was no dip in consumption. In fact, with coffee shops being closed, people were sitting at home, they were consuming more of instant coffee. So we've seen the same traction continue for this year as well.
Understood. Which is what I was wondering in terms of the distribution of coffee that has taken place. But going to the supply side issues, Mr. Srishant, clearly you have first the frost in Brazil, and then you have the COVID cases in Vietnam causing issues in production. You have the weather conditions that have shifted dramatically here in India. How is the supply situation looking, and what can we anticipate in terms of pricing?
We've actually seen almost a 40% increase in prices in the last couple of months itself. And as you rightly said, yes, Brazil is one of the main contributors for this problem. And they're talking about a crop damage that's going to last the next couple of years. So they're expecting these prices to go up and remain high for the next couple of years as well. There are a lot of supply issues because of the container problem that is there worldwide. And we are doing our planning well in advance so that we can get our green coffee to our respective factories. And the same thing we're planning with our dispatches as well. We need to do a lot of logistics planning, unlike what we were doing in the past. The freight rates also are going up, and that's also becoming a burden, especially on the customers.
Absolutely. But speaking of logistics, are you facing major issues in Vietnam, and what is the kind of impact that you would expect on sales as a result of that?
From the demand side, we are not facing any issues. But for the dispatches, yes, we are facing some temporary issues. There is a lockdown in Ho Chi Minh at this point in time. So container movement is becoming a problem. But a large volume of what we sell in Vietnam is in the domestic market itself. So fortunately, that hasn't gotten disrupted. We are changing our production schedules a little bit here and there in order to cater to these changing conditions.
Right. Okay. Srishant, coffee prices are currently at a 4-year high, as we understand. What is the impact on your costs and profits because of this escalation in prices, given that inflation that we're witnessing, and also your past experience? Help us understand really how, because of these high prices, you expect the industry as well as your own company to get impacted.
Well, our business model right from the beginning has been a cost plus model. So whatever is the green coffee price, we pass it on directly to the customers. Whether there is an increase in price or whether there is a reduction in price, even our customers have access to the same data. So we work on a simple formula basis because of which we are able to do a complete pass-through. And profitability as such is not going to get impacted because of this same reason, because we are working on a cost plus model.
Sure. So how does this work? Do you pass on these high prices on to consumers? Are you looking at taking a price hike?
Well, as I was mentioning, we work on a cost plus basis. So whatever is the green coffee price, we end up passing that on to the customers. And what we have seen this year, especially, we are seeing that the prices have already gone up, and we are expecting the prices to go up even further. So we've also been advising our customers to place an order earlier rather than later, and that has helped our customers as well. So if you look at order book visibility for this year, we've actually completed our selling for this financial year, and we've actually started selling for next financial year as well now itself.
Okay, so basically, what you're saying is that you are getting advanced orders on account of the fact that many people are anticipating, that prices are going to go higher as advised by you as well. But now here's another whammy coming in. Just this morning, we have a report from the state-run, from the coffee board saying that the output in October could be hurt because of well, firstly because of weather conditions, because of heavy rain, etc., and also lack of labor. You were already talking about how there are supply issues. There are because freight costs are so high, containers of course are not available. Now you're adding to that some labor issues as well, though I think this is of course more India centric. So are you seeing how do you plan to meet all of this demand, especially when it has been advanced?
So our business is actually dependent 90% on importing coffee, and only 10% of whatever we produce is from within India. So yes, there could be labor issues and other issues, but one positive thing in India is the crop this year is actually better than what it was in the previous years. A couple of years ago with the floods and all that, there was a negative impact. So compared to that all-time low, the volumes have been consistently increasing in India. In the larger scheme of things, India is the sixth largest producer of green coffee in the world. And the other countries we are dependent on are Vietnam, Indonesia, Africa. These are the countries where we are importing a lot of coffee from. So Indian conditions really do not impact us too much.
Okay, understood. Mr. Srishant, I remember that you did have a retail brand, Continental Coffee, that you've been working on. If you could share a little bit of insight on that too.
Yes, we've launched our brand in India a couple of years ago, and the response has been really good. From, I think, a 5 crore brand, we've come up to a 100 crore brand in the last 3 years itself. And we are targeting maybe around 150 crores by the end of this financial year. The response has been fantastic, which is why we've been introducing a lot of new products as well in the market.
Super. Well, all the very best. Thanks so much, Mr. Srishant, for joining us this morning on ET Now.